Yes, people, what is going on? Welcome back to another episode of the Pit Stop Lounge. This is episode number 33, Max Verstappen's number. For the knowledgeable F1
Former
fans out
number.
there, former
Former
number
number.
actually. And we are your hosts, as always, Yala Malcolm. Bro, how are you? First of all,
Well, bro, thank you very much for having me as always. I'm alright, but bro, starting a new week. This week, we have the Good Friday walk. Looking forward
yeah.
to that. And other than that, there's Easter Sunday coming up as well.
Yeah, speaking of which, bro, pretty big week for me because as we mentioned, guys, we have right here in Malta, we have the Good Friday night walk organized by Putin Cares. In the contrary from Malcolm, I'm gonna be running that one. It's a 20-kilometer distance. It's pretty much a half marathon distance because it's obviously been one of my goals this year. Because obviously, guys, for those of you who don't know, especially for those who are listening to this podcast for the very first time, I've been running now for since November now at this point, and next August I'll be summiting Mount Kilimanjaro, which is the highest mountain in Africa and the tallest freestyle mountain in the world. So I'm getting the training in during this time right now, and I've also been running since last November basically. So even after Kilimanjaro, I will be still running for sure. Hopefully, into reaching to the point of getting into half marathon distances by the end of this year. I mean, we'll be doing the first one this Friday, and I'm excited for it. It's not gonna be easy for sure. I need to obviously pace it perfectly, but this is going to be a pretty big challenge for me. I mean, yesterday I just did a 14-kilometer run to put in for my one last training session in, and then did the absolutely crazy thing for in doing a 1 hour session on the bike afterwards. But, obviously it's Easter week. It's Easter week as well, so it's gonna be a nice little break for us. And it's also not just obviously we not only have today's race to talk about, but we also have another race this week as well, coming into Jeddah. But before we get into Jeddah, let's talk about last weekend, what happened. The action unfolded in Bahrain, and we're gonna be doing just that, guys. So excuse me, before we begin, make sure to follow us on our socials. If this is your first time listening to this podcast, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify. For our listeners, make sure to leave us a comment on the comment section down below or on Spotify in the post that we publish every single week. And with that, let's head straight into the weekend, bro, because we don't have any off the track news to talk about as far as I
Which
know.
which is a rarity, bro,
Yeah, it
nowadays.
is. It is. I mean,
Which is a rarity.
this might not be in your brain right now, bro, but when was the last time we didn't have any off the track news to talk about? I mean, because it's on in my brain right now.
I don't have a clue, bro. I swear to God, I don't have a
No, no,
clue.
same
I
here.
wish I could tell you, but I don't know.
Nah, nah,
That's how much of a rarity it is.
understandable, understandable,
No,
understandable.
no off track news in Formula One is like seeing a white fly.
Wow, that's a pretty good comparison right there. But yeah,
That's the
anyhow,
same.
guys, let's get into the meat of this episode, which is Bahrain. Obviously, one of the traditional tracks of the Formula One calendar. It's been going on for, I think it's been
2006. No,
2000.
sorry,
No,
2005.
way before.
2005,
So
I
20
believe.
years now. 20 years now since the start of the
Is it
track.
2005, bro? I think
Or oh 05, if I'm not mistaken.
between 04 06. Between 04
Yeah,
06.
0406. There was obviously a brief hiatus during the COVID-19 pandemic that the race didn't take place. But other than
There was
that,
even a
bro,
short variation during that
and
time.
there was even a short variation, 108 laps, bro, if you remember that one.
108 laps with a sub 1 minute lap times.
And it was also George Russell's debut with Mercedes as well,
And
which
Sergio Perez's Mega Drive with Racing Point at the
with
time.
Racing Point. Yeah, I mean, it was.
Good times,
No, it
bro.
was
Those were
good
the good
time.
times, bro.
Obviously, it was Sergio Perez's first ever race win in his Formula One career, and it
And
saved
that
his
was the
career. And
race.
it saved his career as well.
It saved his career, and that was the race. Not only that it saved his career, but basically put him in the Red Bull seat.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
securing the Red Bull seat. And for George Russell, it was absolute heartbreak for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember he had a puncture. Not a puncture. I forgot what it was. Was it a puncture?
I believe so. It was either that or slow pit stop, if I'm not mistaken.
No, it was a puncture. It was a puncture.
It was a puncture. Yeah, it was a
It was a
puncture. Because
puncture. he went back into the pit, so he didn't have to retire, luckily, and he went
Yeah.
straight back out. I believe he finished second or third. I don't remember.
No, I think he finished way below that. I believe
I don't know.
he
I don't
finished
know.
way
I
below.
don't know.
So it's on my brain at the moment. But anyhow, no. I mean, as I said, bro, Bahrain, it's been going on for over for at least 20 years now, and there's a reason why. It's a great track. It's not my favorite of the F1 calendar, but I can see why it's in the calendar for a reason, bro. Lots of fast lap times, lots of sharp. Yeah, same here. Now, bro, heading into this weekend, we had two things in mind. The first is that we hoped we had a better both a better qualifying and race
Absolutely.
than last week in Suzuka, because last week was an absolute stinker of a weekend.
It was a snooze fest.
It was a snooze fest, a stinker and a snooze fest in one. And secondly, was how McLaren are were gonna respond after Red Bull, after pretty much Verstappen dominating Suzuka. And the answer to
And
that,
there was another question.
wow, what was it?
Are Ferrari gonna have another stinker?
And the answer was no, bro.
Thank God. Thank God. Now let's answer the questions one by one. We already answered one.
Yeah, the
Now the others.
first, yes, it was a better weekend than Suzuka. Was it the
Luckily.
was it the best Formula One weekend of all time? No, it wasn't. Very far from it. But at least we had some excitement, bro. At least,
It was much more. As much more.
at least the sparks made it better, bro.
Absolutely, absolutely,
I mean,
man. Those sparks from the rear diffuser coming
I
out.
mean,
That's
for
a sight. That is a
yeah,
sight.
I mean, for that alone, for me, it was a better weekend in general for just the sparks alone. Uh, but obviously, we're gonna get into the race and qualifying much later on in this episode, obviously. And secondly, McLaren did actually respond from their slight setback than from last week. But we're gonna get obviously into that with both the qualifying and the race, guys. Which we're gonna get to, which we will be going straight into that. We're gonna obviously start with qualifying and head into the race. Obviously, guys, for those of you listening to the first time, we normally start with qualifying. We don't really talk about who got knocked out in Q1, Q2, and Q3. We work our way up the grid, and then we'll recap the race and we give away our awards of the entire weekend as we go along. So
Which consists of driver of the
yeah,
day, loser of the day, clown of the day, and
and
dick
dick
of
of
the
the
day.
day, yeah, exactly. So we're gonna start with qualifying, bro. With regards to Q1, not too many surprises, right?
I was a bit surprised with Oli Behrman and Albon, bro.
Yeah, actually with that one,
I
because
was a
Ollie
bit surprised.
Behrman dead last. Yeah, what do you think?
Plum last, bro. Plum last. I don't know what happened there, to be honest. But I'm more surprised with Albon, bro. He was so consistent in quali this season.
I've
So
actually got
consistent.
himself in 15th, bro.
No, but he got knocked out, no? Did he get knocked out in
But in
Q1?
Q2,
Or was it Q2?
in Q2, bro, 15th in
Oh,
Q2.
God, I forgot. Lapsus.
Lapsus, don't worry.
Nah, I was surprised with Behrman though.
No,
I was
same
very
here.
surprised
I
with Behrman.
mean, considering his consistent run during the season, um, quite surprised that he was languishing at the bottom of the grid, bro. So I really don't know what happened there. I mean, maybe I think it was a bad day in the office with regards to qualifying for Haas.
I mean, I'm not surprised with Stroll,
Yeah,
Mr. Villain,
there's
Mr.
your
Villain arc.
bro. I mean, ever since you got that statement out, that's back to back Q1 exits for him. Actually, three if you count the
Bro,
sprint qualifying.
bro, I gave him the curse.
It's supposed to be the other way around because
I,
I supposed to curse the team, not yours.
but I did. But listen, overall, not just Stroll, bro. Aston Martin this season have been rubbish.
Yeah, they have. I mean, listen, his teammate
With
fared a bit
Stroll,
better,
with
but
Stroll, you could
not so
somehow
much. Let's be
expect it.
honest. But
You expected with Stroll, but even Alonso struggling out there.
yeah,
That's four
it
races in a
hasn't.
row now.
Yeah, listen, Aston Martin just haven't. They just haven't got going this season yet. I
Absolutely
think
not.
they got the car. Listen, I'm not gonna obviously start to mention to start raising questions on Adrian Newey's impact with the team because he's obviously he's been there for only a month now, so his
That would
impact,
be unfair.
that would be unfair. His impact is going to be a slow one with how things are moving at the moment. But No, bro. I mean, this is not. I mean, even with how my predictions have gone way off it so far with Aston Martin.
And it's been the first 4 races.
First four races.
We're not even a quarter into the season already, and the predictions are way off.
Yeah, way off. I mean, with two teams in particular, we're gonna with the other team I'm gonna mention later on when we talk about the race. But nah, I mean Lance Stroll in 19th, and obviously Fernando Alonso. If we're gonna talk about him, he finished in 13th, which not great, bro. Absolutely not great.
Nah,
Um,
nah. And even and even way off on I don't know if that was just a banquet lap or he was improving or wasn't improving, but that was way off, bro. He did a 131.8, and Isaac Hajar in 12 did a 131.2.
way off the
So
pace, man.
that's about 6 tenths.
Yeah,
But,
six
but
tenths. But anyhow, with the rest of the drivers to go knocked out of Q1, we have the two Saubers, Gabriel Bortoleto in 18th and Nico Hülkenberg in 16th. And sandwiched right between them, pause, Liam Lawson 17th. Liam Lawson, I mean, bro, I mean, obviously now Lawson is with is with Red Bull's sister team, so we can't
well, he
give
has
him
way
too
less
much pressure
pressure.
now at this point, but not the start he was hoping for.
Who's the first? Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, both with Red Bull and with the Racing Bulls. Isaac Hajar might already be Racing Bull's first driver in just 4 races.
Wow. Yeah,
Because that's what it
I
looks to
agree.
me. That's what it looks to me. But we'll get to that. In terms of Bortoleto and Hulkenberg,
Not
I mean,
surprised, not surprised. I mean,
not surprised to be fair. So into Q2 we go.
yeah, in Q2. Now, bro, actually Q2, we did had a red flag in Q2 because Esteban Ocon suffered a crash there. Firstly, thankfully he's okay. But yeah, obviously a bit of I mean, Haas in general, they did have a great
You know,
qualifying,
that's
bro.
you absolutely not. I mean, Ollie Behrman got knocked out in P20 and Ocon crashing into turn 2. Is that turn 1, turn 2?
Yeah,
Turn 2 to turn 3. That crash from Ocon reminded me of Nikita Mazepin's crash in his first race.
yeah,
He got way too much on the curb, lost control, and just rear-ended the car into the barrier. And it's a mistake that I don't expect from someone like Esteban Ocon, bro. So I was very surprised by Esteban Ocon, but these things happen. Shit happens, as they say. Thankfully, he's alright though. But it is what it is. But that's what it reminded me. It reminded
yeah.
me of Nikita
Obvious,
Mazepin. And if you're reminding me of Nikita
yeah.
Mazepin, boy, you need to get your ass checked.
Yeah, but yeah, and listen, also for us, work for the mechanics to do obviously before the race, because I think that was the last thing
Yeah,
that they needed after such a poor qualifying
ab-
performance for both drivers. So
absolutely.
no, bro, actually you were right. Alex Albon did get knocked out of Q1 in 16, and Hulkenberg
I,
actually made himself into Q2. But what happened was that Hulkenberg, I believe he received that replays with penalties that pushed him down to 16th. So that pretty
all
much
right,
pushed
all right.
Albin in 15th. But regardless, bro, yeah, a shock to the system for Albin. He's had a very strong start to the season. He's already outperformed what he did last year. So that is a shock to the system for Alex, and he hoped and he obviously he hopes that he bounces back and come next week with qualifying, both even also with the race. In Jeddah, bro, what do you think?
Absolutely, bro. Absolutely. I think he can bounce back in Jeddah. Because listen, Jeddah is the type of track where you need to preserve the tires. And
Yeah,
Alex Albon is the master of that.
absolutely.
So I believe that he can bounce back. I believe he can bounce back in Jeddah. I have faith in you, Alex Albon. Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. We did obviously Esteban Ocon. We did already talk about him. Same with Fernando Alonso in 13th. Poor, a very poor performance from him yet again in 13th. Isaac Hajar in 12th again, bro. Not his best qualifying performance, but
But very good still.
decent for him. Again, he's a rookie. Not gonna get too much pressure on him.
I was more impressed with these boys, the
Jacques
Alpines.
Doohan, bro. Yes, Jacques Doohan in 11th. Gasly, we're going to mention him very soon. But Jacques Doohan, bro, 11th place. Listen,
Very good.
outside the top 10, but much needed for him.
Only just, bro. Only just outside the top 10 by
Very
by
unlucky.
thousands of seconds, bro. to Yuki Tsunoda. That would have been amazing if he got into Q3.
And it's
But
a
it's still
much
very good.
and listen, it's well when it's a well needed boost for it's a much well needed boost for Jack. He's had a really tough start to his F1 career
Absolutely.
so far. Obviously, no one wished that he continued his terrible run of form. So at least he got
Absolutely.
himself into Q2. He got himself into he missed out into the top 10 by just a couple hundredths of a second. To Yuki Tsunoda in 10th. Listen, Q3, something that Liam Lawson never did, never did. So that's actually that's actually an improvement for a Red Bull second driver.
Listen, bro, that Red Bull second seat needs to be taken with baby steps at this point.
Yeah, for sure.
Needs to be taken with baby steps. The first baby step was Japan. This is the second baby step, and it was a huge baby step, thankfully.
Yeah,
Much needed. Seeing two Red Bulls in Q3 is a freaking rarity.
yeah, it is.
It's a freaking rarity since Sergio Perez. I forgot what was the last time Sergio Perez was in Q3.
I think it's been almost over a year now.
Like I can barely
For
remember.
sure, for sure. I think it's been over a year easily.
I can't remember, bro. I can't remember. To see two Red Bulls in Q3. Listen, shout out to Yuki. I hope he continues this, and it's baby steps. It's baby
And
steps.
listen, if there's one thing, sorry.
Keep
No,
going,
no,
keep going.
I know what we're going to be talking about next, but actually, listen, bro. If there's one thing that both Red Bull and Yuki can take from this weekend is that he's going to get another race,
At least
unlike Lawson. So at least
that's already that's
that's already a win for Yuki. So at least
absolutely.
an improvement for last from his home race last week, and at least he got himself into Q3.
It's
At
baby
least,
steps. It's baby
but
steps.
listen, 10th place, not the best result, but again, he's into Q3.
At this point, it has to be baby steps for the Red Bull second seat.
Your boy, bro, ninth,
Unlike, I was gonna get to him.
Sir Lewis Hamilton.
I was going into this week not so optimistic. I was really going into this
Yeah,
weekend not so optimistic. I wasn't looking forward. I was telling you all week, Mister cruising down the street in my 6'4" Easy E looking ass, Lewis Hamilton. I swear to God, at
and
the moment,
WA tribute with the hair, man.
A 64 Chevrolet Impala is quicker than that Ferrari at the moment. I swear to God. Sorry, it steers better
Jesus
than that
Christ.
Ferrari. That's what I should say. A 64 Chevrolet Impala. Bro, I was disappointed. I was very disappointed. He
Yeah,
got
I can't lie.
out-qualified by Carlos Sainz
With the Williams. No disrespect to Science, by the
in
way.
a Williams, bro. I
Hasn't got going, bro. He hasn't got going.
first off. I'm very happy for Carlos Sainz. Thank God, he
Yeah,
deserved that.
at least he's into Q3.
Absolutely deserved that. But Lewis Hamilton P9, you gotta do better.
No, way better.
That's not good enough.
And
Nowhere near,
he,
bro.
bro,
Nowhere near, bro.
and he was on his diva antics all weekend because he started with practice and he continued with his antics all the way all the way to the race. So
Yeah.
so much for so much
So
for
yeah,
so much for that easy E haircut, man.
yeah. Like, what was that Easy E song? What was that Easy E song?
Real motherfucking G's.
No, he has quite a few. Was it not Creep and Crawl? But he basically talked about women and divas, their
Ah, yeah,
sexuality.
exactly that one.
But it really defines what Lewis Hamilton is right now. Is a woman on her period.
A
That's how he
40-year-old
was.
woman on her period. Yeah, but
Bro,
listen,
bro,
listen.
that's
At least the race.
maybe it's the Lewis Hamilton. Maybe it's coming out.
Yeah, but
But
listen. At
we'll get
least
to the
the
race.
race,
We'll get to the race.
his race performance was far better than qualifying. But bro, we were talking about Carlos Sainz in 8th place, his first ever Q3 appearance with the Williams, and yeah, deserved for me. I think
Fully deserved. Fully
he
deserved.
finally out qualified his teammate in qualifying at least. So at least he's gonna walk away with that one for last weekend. But at least, bro, that's more like the standard Carlos Sainz that everyone is used to. So
At
eighth
least.
place for him. Max Verstappen in 7th. Red Bull, bro. We're struggling all weekend, and it showed straight away from practice that this weekend was gonna be nowhere near Suzuka levels last weekend. So 7th place, poor bro. And I think
Absolutely.
I think with how their weekend turned out to be, I think it wasn't really much of a surprise that Max ended up well outside the top 5 places. So yeah,
Absolutely.
a reality check for me, and it's not just that; it's also the race as well, bro.
Your boy Lando Norris.
My boy Lando in 6th. Listen, in all 3 practice sessions, he was either first or second, bro. But the same can't be said for qualifying. Pointing for me,
And he was saying though during practice, Lando Norris, that the timesheets do say a story, but in reality it's another story. So practically it's like Lando Norris knew what's gonna happen in quali. The car just wasn't there in quali at least.
I'd disagree on that, bro, because his teammate was a completely different story.
Yeah, but listen, how many times we got that with Verstappen and the second driver for
I
Red Bull?
I think it was just a driver. It was just the driver's performance for me, bro. Because
Maybe just an off day, maybe.
our car is way strong. It's far more stronger than Alpine. But listen, 5th place in that car, superb.
Very good, very good. Showcasing Gasly's talent again. Maybe that
His leadership, bro, as
maybe
well.
that apart from that, maybe that comment he made on possibly being world champion in 2026 wasn't a reach after all.
Let's not just jump straight to conclusions straight away, bro.
Wish bet on Pierre Gasly, bro. I don't wish bet on him.
Bro, he might be, bro. This brother might be your next victim on your curse on your
Lance Stroll was first.
last
Could
show was
possibly Pierre
first.
Gasly.
It
I
could
don't
poss-
want it.
it could possibly be Pierre Gasly as the second one, bro.
But listen,
The
listen.
top
Lance Stroll
four,
deserves it though.
he
But
be,
whatever.
sorry, no, that's
Lance Stroll
so
deserves it.
Pierre Gasly, no, though, bro. But Pierre Gasly, no.
No, Pierre, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. No.
So Lance Stroll, I'd give you a pass on Lance Stroll, but no, not Pierre for
No
sure.
Gasly. No, no Gasly.
And the top
Pe-
four, Kimi Antonelli, followed by Charles Leclerc in third, George Russell in second, and Oscar Piastri comfortably in pole position. Now, bro, Mercedes again, strong showing for both drivers, especially
yeah,
George
absolutely.
Russell.
Yeah, listen, George Russell is the leader of the team now. I
And
don't
he's
expect
showing it.
anything
And he's
less. And
showing it.
and that Mercedes has been good this week. Has been very good this weekend. Very,
Yeah.
very good. Very impressed. The second best car. They were the only team that could take the fight to McLaren this week.
Yeah, for
They
sure.
were the only team. They were the only team. Unfortunately, how things turned out to be, McLaren proved too much for Mercedes. But George Russell absolutely put up a fight. As
Yeah,
for
for
Charles
sure.
Leclerc, bro, very happy with him. Finally, it wasn't the front row start that I wished for, but it was a second front row start, a top 3 start, which was great. Charles Leclerc always been pretty good in qualifying. That's his forte. That's his strong suit,
Yeah,
qualifying.
for sure.
Thankfully, Thankfully, both Mercedes car got a one-place grid penalty
Yeah.
for breaching rules in qualifying, which meant Charles Leclerc leapfrogged George Russell, which meant Charles Leclerc is finally getting his and Ferrari's first front row start of the season.
It's a huge jump, bro. It's a huge jump considering how your last weekends have been the season. So maybe start for good things to come for Ferrari. I don't know. Maybe too
Ferrari,
early.
Ferrari villain
Ferrari
arc.
Villeneuve, the first team now.
God forbid my own team.
We're
God
opening some.
forbid.
We're opening up some villain arcs here, bro.
This is the villain arc season.
And we're all here for it. No, bro. Listen,
Listen. Let's keep it fair now. Let's keep it fair.
yeah.
At the moment, McLaren is on a villain arc.
Yeah, they are. No, they are. I mean, I think they're gonna continue. I think they're gonna continue with their villain arc for the rest of the season with how things are going at the moment.
What is it? What is it?
Yeah, we'll see for that. No, bro, but no, I'm actually on the same fence as I'm actually on the same fence as for your points on both Mercedes
I'm not hearing you, bro.
Oh, sorry, excuse me. No, bro, I'm on the same fence with both Mercedes and Leclerc. I think with Leclerc signing with him, again, much needed boost for Ferrari. I think I mean, right now Ferrari have been very disappointing this season so far, both in qualifying
Underwhelming.
and on race day and
Underwhelming.
during the race. So
Underwhelming is the
at
word I would
least
use.
the fact that that one of your drivers has got a front row start, albeit for two grid penalties, it's a very decent result for team.
But listen, we got a front row start thanks to a bit of luck.
Thanks to a bit of luck as well. But listen, bro, at third place, I wouldn't say luck. I think you need to
The
calm
third
down a
place,
little bit.
but we got the front row start thanks to George Russell's grid penalty.
Yeah, exactly. And with Mercedes,
So
again, and again, bro, with Mercedes again, it's so far so good with both drivers, Antonelli and Russell. And for me,
now look, now look, now look. This was the penalty that both Mercedes drivers received because I have the article from
yeah, yeah,
F1.com right
yeah.
here.
Go ahead, go ahead.
The stewards penalized the pair. The stewards penalized the pair after they were sent into the fast lane of the pit lane before a session restart time, after Haas driver Esteban
Hmm.
Ocon's crash in early Q2. I think that was a bit harsh.
Yeah, I was actually gonna ask you, bro. I think it was a bit harsh, don't you think?
That was a bit harsh, bro. That was a bit. But hey, listen, at
Well, it's
least a
at
front row
least
start for Charles
not.
Leclerc.
Yeah, but listen, not a significant grid drop as well for both drivers
Yeah,
as well. I mean,
absolutely. It was
they
just one pace. Listen, at the end of the day, didn't prove much. Didn't prove
yeah,
much.
for sure. And lastly, bro, Oscar Piastri in pole position, going from strength to strength, man. Yet again, and he
Dominated.
has. And listen, considering what how McLaren's weekend was going, because we topped all three practice sessions on the front row of the grid. Not surprised that Oscar got the pole position, and he got it quite comfortably as well, bro.
He dominated it.
And listen, bro, you mentioned
Cruising,
and bro, listen, you
cruising on
mentioned
it.
last week. You mentioned that he was knocking on the championship door, and after this weekend,
Even more.
he's right up there now, bro. And with that,
Bro, listen, he ain't knocking on the door. He kicking the door
he's
like the
kicking the
Torgue is
door
big.
wide open, bro.
He's kicking the door like the Torgue is big. Rest in
Yeah,
peace to him.
exactly, bro. And with that, bro, let's get straight into the race. Now, guys, before we get into the race, yes, if this is your first time listening to this podcast, make sure to follow us on our socials: Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Spotify for our listeners. Make sure to follow, to hit us with a like, subscribe, and let us know your comments on the comment section down below or on the polls, whether you're listening to this on Spotify. And with that, the race. Bro, thank God the race was far, far better than Suzuka last week. And it showed it right from the start. You wanna give us a bit of an overview on how the start is? Pretty eventful start, huh?
Well, it was pretty eventful. I mean, Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc, they both started. George Russell with a mega start. It was a mega start from George
Yeah,
Russell,
for
and he
sure.
leapfrogged straight into second place. Norris was leapfrogged straight into second place, overtaking Charles Leclerc. George Russell tried to compete against Piastri, but he couldn't get a hold of him. Piastri just took off from lap one. Piastri just
Yeah,
took off, bro. And Norris was now Leclerc. Sorry, both Ferraris started on the medium compound. Unlike the rest of the grid,
with the
which
softs.
most of the top 10 started on softs, they were lacking grip in the
Excuse me.
first few laps. So Ferrari wanted to play the long game. Eventually, it paid dividends as the race went on, but in the first couple of laps, the Ferraris were really struggling.
Yeah,
As much, both Russell took off after Leclerc, and Norris even overtook Leclerc at one point, I believe.
yeah, absolutely.
And that's how the grid was after the first set of pit stops.
No, actually, bro, before you get to our point, Lando Norris also made a great start, but unfortunately,
Yeah, I forgot. Sorry,
he
sorry.
he was not only out of position, but he also made a false start, and that resulted in a 5-second time penalty. And bro, for me, as I said before, this was not a great weekend for Lando. He was far from.
Yeah, I
He
forgot to
made a couple
mention
of
that.
mistakes. He made a couple of mistakes this week, and the first was in qualifying,
And
getting himself in sixth place.
listen.
Sorry.
That's another race start error.
Yeah, it is. That isn't the first time.
That is another race start error, bro. How many times has he had those?
We've lost count at this point
Because
because he has
I
made a
forgot to
couple.
mention that. I forgot
No,
to mention
and
that. I forgot.
listen, for me, and listen, I got a bit irritated by that because, again, if this really is Lando's year, he needs to cut these shitty mistakes out of the way, bro. I mean,
It,
for his seventh, this is his seventh season in the sport. I expect that you cut out these mistakes now. I mean, can't make jump
he did, he,
starts.
bro. He wasn't making mistakes this early in his career with McLaren.
No, he wasn't, man.
He wasn't.
And
He
his teammate
wasn't.
was the
Maybe
complete
because
opposite.
maybe because the pressure wasn't there back then as it
But
is now.
it could be a
I don't
factor,
know.
but it's
To be honest, coming from me myself, that's a reach, in my opinion.
honestly, bro, I don't want to put that as an excuse because we're still very early on in the season, and I can't really put that as the biggest reason as to why he's still making these mistakes. So no,
Luckily though for Norris, he could play around with that 5 second time penalty.
yeah, I
Luckily,
agree.
he could play around with it, and it turned out to be good. Maybe if he didn't have it, maybe he could have got second, but we're gonna get to that. Apart from that, it was pretty business as usual after the start,
Yeah.
and then around lap, what lap was it that the incident between Yuki and Sainz? I don't forgot.
Actually, bro, before we get into the incident, early on there was a nice battle going on between Carlos Sainz, Hamilton, and even Yuki Tsunoda as well. And I bet you,
There was.
bro, and I'm betting that they're gonna do an entire episode on Carlos Sainz and Lewis Hamilton. I am calling it now
You
on Drive to
already know it.
Survive.
You
It's
already
gonna
know it.
happen,
You
bro,
already
for
know
sure.
it.
I mean the
Because
Netflix script writers there were on crack during yesterday.
I'm gonna be honest, yeah, I haven't watched. Speaking of Drive to Survive, I haven't watched a single episode of season 7.
You're not missing
I'm gonna
much,
be
bro.
honest. I'm being honest. And if this is the bullshit they're gonna keep going with, I even more don't want to watch it because
Yeah.
it separates the reality from what it actually is
Yeah,
to what they portray it to be. But that's
yeah,
another story. We don't
absolutely.
want to talk about
Back
that.
to the race. Ocon,
We don't want to talk about that. The Ocon incident. Which one was it? The Ocon incident now.
the
Was
one
it the
that
Ocon
caused
incident?
the one that caused the safety car, I believe you were talking about.
No. It was Yuki and going behind Carlos Sainz's rear. Pause.
Yeah,
That's what it was. No.
with that duel, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because they were going from the main straight. Yuki Tsunoda braked a bit too late,
Yeah,
went into Sainz's back pause, and basically broke his front wing a bit. And in the back straight, Yuki's bit of the front wing just fell off.
yeah,
And there was a bit of debris, which caused a safety car.
yeah,
Basically, a free pit stop to everyone, for every one of the drivers. Both
pretty
Ferraris
much,
came
yeah.
in, both Mercedes came in. Funnily enough, Oscar Piastri, bro, he was lucky with that, yeah?
Yeah,
Very lucky.
he was
Just as the
actually.
same just just as the safety car came out, he was just turning the last corner and just swooped right into the pit stop. Both Ferraris went on the hards, which was a strange choice, but I mean it was gonna have to be hards, not softs. Unlike the Mercedes one,
It wasn't just the Ferrari, bro, that went with the hards as well.
it was but Mercedes one opted for the softs.
Yeah,
20 even George Russell said 24 laps on the soft is audacious.
yeah,
He did say it himself. But listen, that just meant that George Russell was going to have a proper go at Oscar Piastri. Eventually, he couldn't get near Oscar Piastri at the restart because Oscar Piastri just took off early.
yeah,
And Norris as well. He took off early as well because after the restart, Hamilton overtook Norris when he was in fifth, when Hamilton was in fifth and Norris into fourth. And then Norris just overtook him again because those hards just couldn't get going. Lewis Hamilton said, "This tire sucks." So
Diva antics.
he did say it, and it really did. And it did. It did suck because Charles Leclerc for about 10 laps or how long, Charles Leclerc was defending the life
Yeah,
from Lando Norris to keep that podium, to get his and Ferrari's first podium of the season. But that McLaren,
too quick.
Lando Norris proved too much eventually. I was very happy he tried his best, but it proved too much. It proved too much.
Yeah,
And at
exactly.
one point, it was about to slide out as he was trying to reclaim Norris's place to get back into third, but it proved too much.
I think
It proved too much.
the
And
McLaren.
Norris
Sorry.
and Norris. Sorry, go ahead. Say what you were
No,
gonna say.
no, no, no. It just shows how quick that McLaren is, bro. Because even like when
Absolutely.
Lando was making his pit stops and he was like well outside the top 10, he was just like jumping cars left, right, and center. I mean, with the Sauber in particular, like he was like 1.5 seconds on lap one. The next lap, he just breezed past it. So it just shows how quick that car is. But anyways, back to the
Absolutely.
point.
Absolutely. Yeah, but listen, Leclerc tried his best. Hamilton
Yeah.
tried earlier to maybe get close, but it couldn't be possible. Those hards were just not could not warm up quickly enough. And at the end of the race, so with that being said, that's Leclerc and Hamilton into fourth and fifth.
Could you have gone with better tires next time? Maybe you could have changed. You could have changed the tire strategy if you were at the team there.
Listen, maybe. Whew,
It's an
that's a
interesting
good
question.
question. Listen. At one point, the strategy was working.
Yeah, it was. It
The
was.
strategy was working. They went opposite to what everyone else was doing, and the strategy was working. But I don't know, bro. I don't know. Maybe it was the safety car that ruined it.
In fact, it changed the race as well.
Maybe it was the safety car that altered
Yeah,
things because I believe they wanted to go from mediums to softs. I
exactly.
believe that was the
Hmm.
plan. I don't know, but maybe it was a bit too early to go on the hards. But they had no other choice because there was still a long way to go and it would have been suicidal to go on the
But
softs.
listen,
Even though.
they did the same with Max as well with the hards because he pitted for hards
Yeah,
quite early on in the race and then he ended up struggling for the entire race because he couldn't get himself into the top 5 places.
those hards couldn't get going.
Yeah,
Huge respect to George Russell and Mercedes though.
yeah.
They went for the softs,
Statement.
24 laps on the softs, just like Russell said, is audacious. Norris gave him a good fight in the end, but Russell, great defending and absolutely deserved second place in the end for George Russell.
Antonelli was super unlucky though, bro.
Absolutely,
I think
absolutely unlucky
I
from
think
Antonelli. He even he had to finish 11th.
yeah, he finished. Yeah, and for me, I think that 11th place was unjust for Kimi because I think he drove again for a rookie. He's impressing so much this season. I think that 11th place it was very unjust for him. I think he for a performance like that, I think he deserved at least a couple of points in the bag. But hopefully he'll have better weekends from there. Now, bro, I mentioned that this was a statement for Mercedes, specifically George Russell, because he is showing how much of a leader he is, and he's earning that leadership role to a T. But bro, Oscar Piastri, this guy, he if that is a statement of intent, that is a statement of intent if I've ever seen one, bro. Because
Bro, that was a domination. He was just cruising. That was cruising.
all weekend, bro, not just the race,
That was cruising.
qualifying in practice, everywhere.
Not but he couldn't be bothered, bro. He wasn't bothered once.
No,
Not once. Not even during the restart. Not even once, bro.
I was never, bro. I was never. I was. There was never a point in the race that I was worried about his position, even in the restart.
Uh, Listen, I'll tell you what, bro. I'll tell you what, my guy. Oscar Piastri. Yes, he's shown it last season, and he's already shown it this season. He is mature beyond his years.
Yeah, he is. For such a young
Wow,
age, he is.
wow, wow.
And for me, listen, bro. If for me, that is the characteristics of a Formula One world champion, in my opinion, because you need to have
Absolutely,
that maturity, and you need to have that composure and that sense of untouchability when you are in first place. Because and he got, bro. He didn't put a single foot wrong
that
during
was
this
flawless.
weekend. It was a flawless
That was
drive.
flawless.
He maximized his tires with his pit stop strategies. He was saying fast lap after fast lap after fast lap, both in the qualifying and in the race in particular. And even bro, in the restart, there was never a point that Russell was gonna pull an overtake on him.
No,
Never.
listen. The best chance was in lap one.
Yeah, I agree.
Best chance was lap one. After lap one, it was gone.
After
Not even. Not even. Sorry,
in the
half
first
of lap one.
half of lap one and in the first couple of corners, basically.
First couple corners, because after sector one, Piastri was gone.
And listen, I'm not entirely satisfied. Not just with Oscar, by the way, because I'm very thrilled that Oscar not only won the race, but he dominated the entire race. But I just wish that his teammate was on the same level as his, because as I said before, um, this was a disappointment. This for me, yes, he got third place. Yes, he obviously compared to his sixth place.
Possibly. Listen, possibly. I
Yeah,
forgot to mention this. At one point, whilst Norris was trying to overtake Leclerc, Norris was gonna overtake
quick.
Leclerc way earlier than intended in turn one, but he just locked up. He locked up, and that cost him a lot of time.
And that was
Possibly,
another mistake, bro, for
if
first
if
countess once.
I believe if Norris overtook Leclerc then and there, he would have overtaken Russell and maybe got a McLaren one too. But that never happened.
And that was a tr-
Maybe that though
and there
also
was the possibility.
that was a possibility, but Russell defended him very well.
Yeah,
Once he didn't overtake Russell in the final lap on turn one and turn three,
that was
turn
it.
four,
That
sorry,
was it.
that was it. That was it. There was no way he was overtaking him.
And bro, and speaking of George Russell, there was a possibility that he could have earned a time penalty, but that didn't happen because he was sent to stewards after the race, but there was no further action that was needed after the race, so he kept his second place. So listen, a double podium is a great result for the team, but for Lando, this for me was a setback. I'm gonna be very very blunt here. For me, this was a setback for Lando because he made several mistakes, which you don't even expect for a driver that's been 7 years into the sport now at this point. And again, if you're really challenging for the title, you can't be making those mistakes. You will listen. You will make some small mistakes or even some big mistakes as
No
well.
one's perfect.
No one's
No one's
perfect.
perfect.
At the end of the day, no one is perfect. But the type of mistakes that Lando made during the past weekend were basic mistakes in my opinion.
Yeah.
You can't be bro. You can't be making false starts and out of position starts because even Max noticed that. And listen, when he was investigated by the stewards, I had no. There was no, we all knew what was gonna happen.
Yeah, it was clear. It was clear. And there was at one point where he overtook Hamilton and he had to give the place back after the restart.
That's another one because he did the overtake he
Yeah,
did
he
the
overtook
overtake
him
off
off
the
track.
track.
That's another one. That's another one. We forgot about that one.
He did he did
Yeah,
basically
man.
one Tottenham move after the other basically during this race. So
Is it one Tottenham or is it one United move off them?
or one United move, yeah, it could be that one. But no, listen, I am disappointed with Lando Norris. Listen, the good news is he got a third place. That's more points for him, both in the drivers and the constructors championship for him. But I expected a far better performance from that. But at least listen, he got a third place. But getting back to Oscar Piastri, bro, what a performance.
Domination.
For me, this is a statement of intent for him because you said last week that he is knocking on the door to for this year's drivers championship, and now he has slammed the door wide open now, bro, because he is in that drive that he is in that championship battle now with Lando and Max for sure.
Absolutely. Listen, he is kicking the door. He's kicked in the door.
He's kicked it, bro. He's kicked it, bro.
He's kicked in the door. He's not knocking on the door. He kicked in the door. Like, bitch, I'm home. That's what Piastri done.
Yeah, for sure.
That's what Piastri done.
I'm not surprised.
So yeah, listen, Piastri, great win. George Russell, absolutely fantastic performance, especially after the restart with the softs.
Yeah,
Lando Norris, off day. Ferrari. I expected worse. I wished for better. I wished
it's our
for
best weekend though. It's our best weekend,
but it could have been worse, and at least it's our best weekend of the season.
so at least you could end up.
Verstappen,
Oh, Red Bull.
mistakes.
Oh, Red Bull. But this was a reality check for Red Bull, in my opinion.
Torrid weekend. Torrid weekend. Listen, at least both Red Bull in the points.
Not so much,
With
though.
Verstappen
Like how
and
much?
Yuki in
10 points. 10 points in the bag, which is, listen, not the worst result, but
Listen, bro. But listen, again, we go back to what we were saying in qualifying. It's baby steps for that Red Bull second seat.
yeah. Yeah,
Red Bull's
exactly.
second seed needs to be taken with baby steps at this point. For Yuki to get a points finish, all well and good. So to see both Red Bulls in the points, all well and good as well.
But listen, bro. Speaking of Red Bull, Helmut Marko had a crisis meeting after the race, just because just to show how poor of a weekend they've had
Oh, he had a
all
crisis
weekend.
meeting, really? I don't know
The
this. I
entire
don't
team,
know
no, no, the
this.
entire team after the race, the entire team had a crisis meeting.
Wow.
Helmut Marko summoned it. I've said just now, it's a reality check for Red Bull because this is how the team is at the moment. You can't be relying on Max every single week because he will. This won't be the first time that Max will have an off weekend like
And listen, and
Bahrain.
listen, and listen. They've been relying on Max Verstappen for 4 seasons.
And the cracks have showed now for sure.
And listen, for Max Verstappen to be able to carry that team for 4 seasons in a row,
It's starting to show now.
oh,
It's
I
starting to show
think
now.
it's starting to take its toll.
Yeah,
It's
for
starting to take its
sure.
toll. He can't do everything by himself.
And listen now, if and
That's what happened. That's what happened. Sorry, pardon me. That's what happens when you design a car specifically for one driver.
yeah, for sure. And
But I
and
digress.
listen,
But I
will
digress.
if Suzuka was a one-off for the team this season, we'll have to wait and see. But this was a this was a bad day in the office for Red Bull for sure.
And Red Bull and usually are decent in Bahrain.
Yeah, they are. But listen, I think the only positive thing they can take away from this weekend is that both drivers got points. Yuki will definitely have another race for sure.
We forgot to mention this. This was McLaren's first ever win in Bahrain.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah, I forgot to mention that
We
as well.
forgot to mention. We forgot to mention
Yeah,
this.
but going back to Red Bull, bro, at least what they can take away from this weekend is that both drivers got themselves into the points, and Yuki will have another race with Red Bull for sure. So
Baby steps.
with the
All
baby
about baby
steps.
steps.
The rest of the top 10, bro, we've had obviously besides Yuki getting ninth
Pierre
place,
Gasly.
Pierre
Pierre
Gasly
Gasly
first points
finally
for
some points with
Alpine,
the Alpine. Finally. And another double
a
points
double
finish
points for
for
Haas,
Haas.
bro, 8th and
With
10th
Ollie Behrman putting in a super drive again from P20
from
to
the back of the
P10.
grid, man.
The man in form, Ollie Behrman himself. Ollieing drivers like he's playing Tony Hawk Behrman,
Yeah,
bro.
listen,
That's what he's doing right now.
I'm not even sure who's the better rookie right now. It's either Kimi or Oli, bro. I think Kimi is the better rookie, but Oli is giving him a good fight, bro.
For me, overall, absolutely love Kimmy, but Ollie Behrman gets it at the moment.
He's absolutely and listen, bro. Once again, Haas are proving me wrong because
And listen, Ollie Behrman, we just mentioned Ollie Behrman
yeah,
and Kimi Antonelli. Kimi Antonelli was trying to overtake Ollie Behrman, and he couldn't
and
get
he
in. He
struggled, and
couldn't
he
get
was
in.
struggling, and he was struggling,
He
bro.
was struggling in a Mercedes against the Haas. So yeah, Ollie
And
Behrman is better than Kimi Antonelli at the moment. Love Kimi, but Ollie Behrman is the best rookie by
and
far.
bro, with Haas, both drivers are just understanding the assignment. They're understanding their assignments at the moment because with
Listen,
both them, sorry.
Haas again, just going about their
They're
business.
going about their business, bro. And under Ayo Kamatsu, it just goes to show, bro, because of how unpopular of a decision of sacking Gunther Steiner, it's turned out to be the right decision at the end of the day, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because they're delivering. Now that's their second double points finish of the season, and that is more crucial points in the bag for the constructor standings, bro. Considering with how Aston Martin and even Williams and also Sauber how they performed last week and even Racing Bulls, significant points in the back for them, and that pretty much
Absolutely.
completed the top 10. Now we had only one retirement, bro, and that unfortunately was Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, very unlucky.
Sad, bro.
He's had
Very,
to
very
retire the
sad.
car.
This stuff start continues, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Just as we thought he was starting to turn the page,
Yeah,
going to Q3 for the first time, he had to get DNF for having side damage.
yeah, side
Damage
damage,
was it on the right panel? I believe it was on the right
which
panel.
which also resulted in the safety car as well. So, yeah,
Absolutely.
very disappointing for Sainz.
And we also got a disqualification
Yeah,
for Nico
Hulkenberg.
Hulkenberg.
And the reason for that was because of excessive wear on the skid block of his car, on the flat bottom of his car.
which
Oh,
is which is the plank.
Yeah, which is the plank exactly. Now, obviously, Hülkenberg finished well outside the point, so that really didn't make any much of a difference for him. So, but yeah, disqualification, going to stink for a driver like Nico Hülkenberg for sure. So that obviously is on the team, not on him. So
Overall, it was a good race.
yeah, good
Now we
race.
move on.
Listen, at least the good news is that we had a better weekend than the last in Suzuka. Um, Driver of the day, bro. Now this could go either to Oscar Piastri or Ollie Behrman. I think you're gonna go with Ollie Behrman for sure, right?
I'm gonna go with my boy Ollie, bro. He deserves it.
Yeah, no, I'm going with Oscar Piastri just to go for different picks for sure. I think both drivers deserve it, man. I think with Oscar again, dominant,
Yeah,
untouchable
absolutely, absolutely.
dominant weekend all around, and Ollie Behrman mega performance for him from 20th all the way to 10th. Loser of the day, Red Bull, easily. I'm struggling to pick.
Hmm.
Listen, I can't really pick Kimi Antonelli because I think he was very unlucky. It could be Lando Norris, but again, he got himself well into the points with a third
I
place.
agree. I agree.
It's Red Bull,
I'll go
bro.
with Red Bull.
For me, this is a setback for him, for the entire team.
I agree. I agree. I agree. I agree. Listen, if
It could,
Helmut Marko
it
had to hold
yeah,
a
sorry.
crisis meeting, you know it's bad.
You know it's bad. Yeah, exactly. Listen, if I'm thinking of
You
other
know it's
picks,
bad.
I could pick up. Yeah, it is. I could pick Aston Martin, I could pick Lando, I could pick Kimi Antonelli, I could pick Sauber, but it's Red Bull, bro. I mean,
You go
they've
with Red Bull.
considering how Ferrari, Mercedes, and even McLaren how they performed during this weekend, definitely losers of the day. Dick of the day, bro. Kind of hard this one, is it?
Nah,
Don't have any picks.
nah, not no picks.
I'm the same with Clown of the day, bro. No picks on that as well.
No one, absolutely no one.
All right, then let's get into something straight away. So our top two are the Bob McLaren drivers, Lando in first and Oscar in second, 77 points and 74 points, just 3 points between the two drivers. Max Verstappen in third with 69 points, George Russell in fourth with 63 points, Charles Leclerc in fifth with 32 points, Kimi Antonelli in sixth with 30 points, Lewis Hamilton in seventh, just 5 points behind him with 25 points. Alex Albin in 8th with 18 points, Esteban Ocon in ninth with 14 points, and Lance Stroll in 10th with 10 points. Bro, speaking of Esteban Ocon, 14 points for Haas. That was not even on my
Already,
books this season already. So
absolutely,
fantastic
absolutely.
so far.
Listen, Ocon and the Haas already proving a good signing.
Yeah, it is
Already
for
proving a
sure,
good signing. Already,
for
already
sure.
proving that.
The constructors, McLaren stay on top with 151 points, and they are already opening up a pretty big gap between them and Mercedes, the team in second with 93 points, Red Bull in third with 71 points, Ferrari in fourth with 57 points, Haas in fifth with 20 points. That's fucking insane, bro. Actually,
Bro, they're leading the
they're
midfield.
leading the midfield, bro, over Williams as well.
They're leading the midfield. Not even Aston Martin have kickstarted yet. Overtaking Aston Martin at the moment.
Ridiculous,
Very
man.
impressive.
Wow.
Four race weekends in, and your predictions already out the
No,
window.
no, horribly, absolutely horribly. Williams in sixth with 19 points, just a point behind them. Aston Martin seventh with 10 points. They're for me the biggest disappointment so far with how the season
Yeah,
is shaping up to
absolutely.
be.
Even mine. Even mine.
Racing Boys in eighth with 7 points, and Alpine and Sauber at the bottom of the grid with just 6 points. All right, guys.
That makes now every team has scored points.
Yeah,
Last year, it took, I believe, from the second last race of the season for all teams to be able
yeah,
to be
exactly.
this year has already been broken by just the fourth race weekend of the
Yeah,
season.
no drinks bet so far.
And that's
No drinks bet so
no
far.
drinks bets. No need for a drinks bet at the moment. No need for a drinks bet at the moment.
Right now, no.
None that I have in mind. Let's say that. Right now, no.
Yeah, yeah. For
Still
now,
early.
no. We might invent one next. We might invent one towards the end of the season, but who knows?
We might. Could be a Christmas special, so we might.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. All right, guys, that is it. That is the end of today's episode. Thank you so much for listening, guys. It means the word to us that you tune into our podcast and listen to our thoughts on every single race weekend and for our banter as well. Our next episode is actually in a week's time, where we stay in the Middle East and we're heading to Jeddah for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. That's going to be on Easter Sunday, so we're going to be tuning into that one with our families, most likely, because we'll be having our Easter lunches during that time. And with that, we'll sign out, and we hope we have a great rest of the week, guys. Peace out.
Much love. Thank you.